Hi everyone, in this week's video I'm going to be showing you one of my latest additions, my favourite fish at the moment, the Schoutedeni Puffer, also known as the Congo spotted puffer. I've wanted a puffer fish for ages now. I've done my research and know which one I want. This is the guy. Alright, so this is species special on the Schoutedeni Puffer, also known as the Congo spotted puffer. Probably saying its scientific name wrong, but you know, I give it my best go. They are a freshwater puffer fish, but as I've said before, they are extremely rare in the fish keeping hobby. I feel really lucky to have one, if I'm honest with you. The main reason why they're so rare is due to the fact that they're almost exclusively in the Congo River, and unfortunately they tend to be difficult to export due to the conflicts and dangers currently going on in the Congo, and people just aren't going there for these fish. They're not sourcing fish to export them or to import them back into our countries, which unfortunately leads to the fact that they're pretty rare. These puffers do get between 3 to 4 inches, so around the 10 centimetre mark, which I think is very reasonable for the aquarium. They don't get too big at all, and as a result, you know, they do require a minimum tank size of around your 110 litre mark, 30 US gallons. And they do like, compared to some of the other fish that I keep, or most of the other fish that I keep, they do like slightly cooler water. So you're talking somewhere between 22 and 26 degrees centigrade, 72, 79 Fahrenheit. But these guys are ferocious eaters. This guy or girl reminds me of a little pig. He just eats and eats and eats. Every time there's food around, they want some. They go dashing over to it and they scoff it down. But as a result, they do require a good level of filtration and regular partial water changes. They tend to live for around 5 to 8 years, so they are a bit of a commitment. You know, they're not something just to take on for a year or two or a few months. So if you are interested in getting one, make sure you are willing to make that commitment to it. And as far as, you know, the food goes, the diet goes, they do require a carnivore diet. You know, they like meaty foods like your prawns, your mussels, but they also take bloodworm and krill. And it's really important with any puffer really, but particularly these, that you feed them foods such as cockles and snails. You know, as with most puffer fish, they do have a beak. And this needs to be filed down, otherwise you're gonna have problems with the tooth or the beak, whatever you want to call it. I think it's personally a good idea to raise a small snail colony in a separate tank to drop in now and again. But if you were to drop the snails straight into the tank, all of them, the whole colony that you have, what you'd probably end up happening is the puffer fish, he would just kill them. He might not eat them all in one go, but he would definitely just go around killing them for fun, and therefore your colony is over. It's not going to grow. So keeping them in a separate tank and growing that colony means that you'll always have snails on hand. And I think if you ask your local fish store, particularly if you're buying a puffer from them or one of these puffers from them, if you just ask them, if you've got some pest snails I can have, they'll probably gladly give them away. It gets them off their hands. As far as puffers go, these are the smallest African puffer there is, and tend to be fairly peaceful and rarely bite their tank mates, and so for that reason they can be kept in a community tank. However, I would recommend that tank mates are selected with caution and obviously carefully observed once they're in the tank together. It should be in a mature aquarium, hopefully with a soft sandy substrate, along with plenty of caves and crevices to help them feel comfortable if need be. Ideally, they'd like a planted aquarium with bogwood and rocks to help break up the eye line, particularly if kept in a community or kept as a group. This calms down aggression. This means that they can shy away from one another because that eye line, they're not in each other's eyesight all the time. They can break away. If you're lucky enough to be able to obtain more than one of these, then be aware that they can show some aggression to its own kind, and preferably be kept in the ratio of 1 male to 1 female. Easier said than done, but there are no obvious differences between genders. So identifying 1 male to 1 female is guesswork. It's pretty much an impossible task, really, if you're just picking them from an aquarium. If you did manage to get a pair, and they did pair up and they did breed, then the female would lay eggs on leaves, and the male tends to guard them. This fish is so different to the other fish that I've kept, but I absolutely love it. It definitely is one of my favourites at the moment. It's really inquisitive and curious, as well as tending to always come to the front of the tank every time I go near the aquarium. Absolutely love him. Easily one of my favourite fish at the moment, and if I was able to source another one or another couple, I don't know if I'd be able to help myself. I couldn't help myself with this guy. I saw it in my local fish store, and I just had to have him. I didn't take him there and then. I actually thought, you know, divine intervention, I'm going to go and set up a tank for him. I'm going to make sure I use media that is mature, so the tank is mature. I'm going to add a few plants to it. I'm going to bide my time. And 2 or 3 weeks later, I went back and, you know, I was taking my chance. If he'd gone, and that intervention had taken place and it wasn't meant to be, but he was still there. And I went with the intention of getting him Once seeing him again, I couldn't hold back. I had to have him, and here he is. I don't regret it for a second. Absolutely buzzing that I've got one of these. Fantastic fish. This guy in particular is really curious, really goofy. Every time I come into the garage where my fish tanks are, he's there meeting me and greeting me at the glass. He's so curious about what is going on outside here and who's coming in and what we're going to be fed. He's got a lot of personality, and for that reason I'm naming him George. Curious George. That's what he reminds me of. He is awesome and really, really cute. So this was my species special on the Schoutedeni Puffer. If you've enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and if you're interested in updates on the puffer itself, on George, then please make sure you subscribe to follow his story. Additionally, please let me know in the comment section below what your favourite puffer is, what your dream puffer is, and if you have any puffers yourself, I'd love to hear from you. And finally, if there's anything that I've missed out or you disagree with, please add to the information to all the other viewers and put it in the comment section below so they can learn from you as well. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.